Now 6 p.m. on Thursday, 22nd of January. I'd like to call this meeting of Rome City Council to order. We have a quorum of council members. So at this time, if you please rise for the invitation to pledge allegiance. Father, thank you again for this wonderful day and for this chance to govern ourselves. We ask you to lead, guide, and direct us in doing what's right in your sight, Father, and we ask your protection for our first responders and other public servants who'll be working this weekend during the bad weather. Keep an eye on them, Father, and keep them safe. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, at this time, do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
Moving on. Announcements from the mayor and council. We have on the fourth, be our monthly outdoor warning siren test. So I know that catches even me by surprise sometimes. So February 9th will be our next P and Z meeting. And also at this time, I'd like to announce that I have dropped my packet to run for a second term as your mayor. I hope I've done a good enough job for everybody, and I would appreciate your support in May. But so council, do you have any announcements? Friend?
Yeah, the Rome Community Library is still looking for a librarian. We also have a circulation desk position that is funded through the federal government. That's an opportunity for anyone over 55 who is low income. So if you know anyone, because you don't want me to be librarian. Bye.
All right, any other announcements? No other announcements? Good. Sir?
Yes, sir. I'm Jeremy Finch. I placed my application in to run again. Well, I never ran, but I am running for place 5 again. So I hope that, you guys seen enough of me and my ability and my contributions to this city to maybe vote for me. And if, I'm still learning on the job as far as being a councilman. And, I'm a good person and, I know what this city needs. So, I just hope I can still maintain your support back here. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. There's no further announcements. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Very well. Thank you. Moving on to number 5, our monthly staff reports and or board minutes. Do you have any reports this time? Nope. Okay. Moving to the regular agenda, we have the police department policy updates concerning missing children and the pursuit reporting. Chief, you have the floor.
Today,
That's the big 40.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for addressing 2 more of my policies. These are very minor changes. Simply, the other 2 policies were vendor specific, as like WatchGuard for our camera provider, CopSync for our records management system. We've since gone away from them, and so it's just making the policy more gender neutral or vendor neutral than they were. That way it doesn't lock us into one provider. Yeah, that's simply all the changes are on those 2 policies.
Is there any discussion or questions from council?
I don't.
Good. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve these policy changes.
I make a motion to approve the policy changes submitted by the police chief.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you very much. Moving on. Next item on the agenda is the Commercial Motor Vehicle Enforcement Program. Chief, you're already there. Take us through.
So I got my response from surprisingly quick from DPS. Week before last, I submitted an application to become an associate agency with them to do commercial motor vehicle enforcement. When I came to work on Tuesday, I had my packet waiting for me in the mail with the MOUs and everything included. So, do we have the MOUs back?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't have him back from Carvin as of yet, and he was supposed to be at this meeting, so maybe we could table this one and go to Mr. Dominguez's presentation, because I'd like to know if they can make a motion to accept those resolutions.
Traffic too.
So if we could postpone this one for just a moment and skip down to Mr. Dominguez's.
We'll come back to that item. Thank you, Chief. Dominguez, you have the floor. Public Works.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. We're gonna do a update on,
FM 3432.
FM 34-3 tank repairs. Due to weather, as we're expecting a lot of ice, I'd say Saturday. We decided to move it because one, the company's coming out of either Hillsborough or somewhere out by Dallas. So one, they're pretty far. I know they're an hour away. And, getting up that hill, I mean, when it rains, we can barely get up the hill. So I told them there's no way we're gonna be able to get y'all up there with y'all material. So we moved it. That is contingent with weather. Looking like at the radar now, looks like it might snow again next week. So,
Oh,
yeah,
but still, I think it's a good call.
yes, absolutely.
What else you gonna do?
It's a good call. Mr. Dominguez notified the commercial partners in that area, the schools, the church, et cetera, and bless their heart, the church had a wedding scheduled for Saturday, so I'm not sure if that will be able to go or not,
They were
but
impacted either way at the
yeah,
end of the day.
so it was a challenge for them, but we push everything out on all of our sites to update as well.
Any discussion, questions, guys? We don't have a date for to do it yet.
Next Saturday.
Oh, we're
Push it back.
Pushing it Saturday
Back another
until we
week.
get.
Okay, gotcha.
To say the communication about what's happening with that repair has been very well received, very professional, and so we appreciate that and the support with the water vendor. We're talking about that.
Excellent.
There was some discussion at the last meeting about provision of water
Yes, sir.
to water customers.
Yes, and we
uh,
did. For the areas that were gonna be affected with the water turned off. Did we deliver those?
We delivered those
Yesterday,
Thursday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I don't even know what day we're at. Sorry, Wednesday.
Working
We
7
delivered 2 cases per home, and then the church got a few extra in case somebody goes to them. But we did deliver to the areas that are being directly affected to no water, just to get them through that time frame.
Which significantly reduced the cost from the standpoint. If we were trying to provide for the whole community, if we were completely out, that's a different project and a different process that we would go through. But since 90% of our community will be able to boil said water and still use it, we limited the handout to those directly in those areas.
Thank you. Appreciate the update. All right, moving on to the next item, is the old school plans for renovation and or future use. Brought this back as we're in the new year and we know our school turns 100 in year after next, correct? Yes. It's still sitting there empty and vacant and we've got, I just wanted some direction from council, about doing, we're gonna need to do some public hearings, when and where you guys think we ought to do that, and I believe we're gonna need to spend some money to find out, you know, what is the new estimated cost for building it, or get a structural engineer in there to tell us if it's even doable anymore from just weather, age, and if even renovating the building. I would love to see that building saved, but we have to be practical about this, but we can't just leave it vacant. And I just wanted you guys to maybe give us your thoughts and how you think we ought to proceed with this, because we gotta find out what the public wants, because yeah, it's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost upwards of 20-something million probably to build it out.
We would want to get some better pricing than what we have now, because we really missed the opportunity when this originally came forward. The costs are gonna be at least double what they were originally proposed in the bond. So I would estimate anywhere between $10 to $15 million, depending upon what the finish out on the inside looks like, what damage may or may not have been done to the building and the substructure, as we have noticed that there are a couple of downspouts where all the rain comes out and goes under the building. So I would propose that we expend some funds to have someone come look at the foundation and see if it is still serviceable or if the building itself is now beyond repair, because we don't know. And so much has changed in the several years that it's been since we looked at it last. Then we would want to have the architectural firm give us an estimate of or opinion on cost again. That would be to fix the building as something that's usable for the community. And I did have a conversation with Mr. Loftus last week that I don't know how his discussion went with the library board, but one of the things that I was thinking is, since we do have the modular building that we purchased, that could be moved back onto the police department site, and we could cohabit the school building with the library potentially. And then it becomes a real community center from the standpoint of, if people want to visit something, city offices, administration, water, etc., you've got that on one side, you've got the library on the other side, and you have a space in the middle that could be co-used by multiple groups. But it's a different vision than what was originally put forward. And I don't know, but I would hope it would lower the cost some, because the police department is very specific in the things that it needs. But that building was always purchased with an eye towards reuse. And there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't raise what's on the current police department site, move that building and reset it there. And then they've got 5,200 square feet of usable space that will hold them for quite a while. Just an idea. There are a lot of different things that could potentially happen, but I did broach the subject with Mr. Loftus, and he was going to talk to the board.
Yeah, initial response from the board, there are a lot of board members that have been on the board quite a while and through the history of Rome. And, they still remember the way things kind of used to be in town. And some of them weren't very excited about it. The other perception is that they're tired of dealing with an old infrastructure, such as like we're in right now. And then beyond that, my own personal observations of the building is that, which hopefully some engineers would answer, is it really conducive to modern infrastructure for these days? For instance, I know about wireless networks. There is a lattice metal in those walls. And it's just like your microwave. You know how the door to your microwave has those little dots?
Mm-hmm.
Because the microwaves can't go through those little dots. They protect you. Well, that metal lattice work is the same way with wireless networks. So you're going to have a challenge
Sure.
with some modern infrastructure in that building.
Well, that's one of the merit points and some things that we've discussed, and I appreciate the library's view on that, but I'd like to partner with others
Yeah.
in every opportunity that we can, because it provides an enhanced service for everyone when we need to really just, in my opinion, consider who we're serving. And hopefully we can build that bridge where we can change hearts and minds and potentially look at that. But if we don't know if the building is even salvageable from that standpoint, then it's all a moot point today.
Yeah, I think once there's a real plan in place,
Mhm.
then I could
Sure,
approach
well,
the subject.
yeah, vision and some concepts boards and all of that really helps people to see what you're trying to do. But that's kind of what the mayor wanted to bring forward, was when and where do you want to have conversations, or is this something you want to just delegate to staff, which we can do? And do we want to consider expending a certain amount of funds not to exceed X dollar to have the building reevaluated and potentially get another cost opinion, and or start with looking at the foundation and seeing if it's even salvageable.
Because the first thing I would ask as a citizen is how much and how we paying for it. I know we gotta do what we gotta do to do our homework. And eventually come to a point where maybe we set up a website or something on the city's website where people can go vote and tell us what they want us to do. I mean, it's the people have to make the decision. Because we're gonna have to spend money to do this, but I think we need to do what we gotta do to answer their question. And right now, we don't know what we don't know.
There's no data.
So we gotta find out if juice is worth the squeeze on this. Is it, so I guess what we're asking is your guidance to staff to begin doing some research on this and find out what it's gonna take.
I would say at minimum, we need to look at the foundation, because if the building is not salvageable, then there's really no point to proceed past that. But we don't know at this juncture.
I think we've already discussed as a council that we value the historic pieces of our community and we like to salvage what we can. So I like the idea of getting some professional opinions on what the possibilities are. I don't have any idea what amount of funds we would need to allocate just to, for somebody to take a look.
I just want to echo what the mayor said, what, as a citizen and council member, how are we gonna pay for this? And I know it's gonna bring this discussion. And we asked the taxpayers to go in and vote these bonds and to fix our immediate problems. And I don't have a problem, or I know one should have a problem with exploring this as long as we have the money in the budget to do so. You might have to move it from one more area to another. But I mean, we can have discussion. Just don't want to get us in a catch-22 of, well, we're gonna have to go back and vote on this and ask for more money. We've already asked the citizens here about the infrastructure and they saw the forest through the trees and they passed it. So, and I want y'all to have a good building. I mean, that's number one. You guys need it in the worst way. And I'm not saying that. I'm just very leery about asking voters to do this again.
I just want to be clear that this is a long view for the community itself.
Okay,
The facility that we're in is handling all of our needs. We do not have
that's nice.
anything that we're lacking for in the new modular building at all.
Okay.
Services are there. We have a nice big lobby. People are able to come in, et cetera. So I want to make sure that the community knows that the staff is extremely grateful for what we have to work in at this point. We're just trying to figure out, we had the senior center and it was beyond fixing. The cost was just prohibitive to bring it back up. And so we raised that and we took it off our insurance so that we weren't worrying about anything associated with that or any type of liability. So we have the old school building, we have this facility, we have the old city hall, and we have a few other spaces that I will be bringing forward over the next little bit for us to just have some conversations on. I've had some interest for folks to potentially purchase and or lease the old city hall. The problem is I've got to do some due diligence on some of the background of it and to get it to the city planner before that can move forward. So it's just one of those tasks that's on the to-do list.
Just to dig in, is this, I almost think this might be something that I might present to the First Street initiative that we're just getting involved in. And I don't know if I need to explain a little bit about that right now. But they have some resources to come to bear for historical buildings. And we might be able to get someone to take a look at it on their dime. I don't know.
I think that would be great if we could talk about that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can tell everybody what the First Street initiative is at that point.
Okay, that'd be great.
Again, this is a long-term project. We're not trying to bring this
Oh, no.
to the voters anytime real soon, but we gotta start our work now. Cause the building's just sitting there getting older and older, so, that gives, right now what I'm hearing is, yeah, you want staff to take a look at this. So
Get
we
an
can
idea on the foundation.
bring more information back.
Okay, all right.
And the
Okay.
timing is really good. The timing with the 100 years coming up would be something for sure to celebrate.
Yeah, we're going to, but that gives us at least a direction to go in for the moment, so unless there's any other input. All right, well, we'll move on. We're gonna go back to item number B, the Commercial Motor Vehicle Enforcement Program. We have Carmen here now.
I know, but I'm giving mine. Because I definitely looked at things and everything.
To recap, we applied to be the associate agency with DPS for the commercial motor vehicle enforcement. We received acceptance along with 2 MOUs that we're seeking your approval on for our participation in it. Just gotta be as transparent as possible. It doesn't come without a cost to the city. There are equipment that we have to purchase, training that they have to attend. But I believe that, and we're on a 1-year time limit to get ours started, and then we renew this contract with DPS every 2 years. With the fine structure, the way it's set up and the way that you're allowed to recoup your money plus them for all expenses, I think it's totally feasible. It does put an additional administrative and financial workload on some people due to the reporting requirements of the comptroller's office and separating those from regular traffic enforcement fees. But it can be stepped up into. We don't initially have to start out with doing the weight program. We could refer that. That's additional training, the scales, the calibration is a little bit of additional expense, but that's something that can be gradually moved up into, or we can jump feet into, both feet into it. Like I said, I think with the fine structure, we can recoup our losses pretty quickly, our expenses very quickly.
And I think everybody sees how many 18-wheelers move through Rome on a daily basis. So I think we need to have the ability to regulate that in some way, shape, or form. I think the program will pay for itself.
Is this just gonna be one officer that does this, or are there gonna be multiple officers that are doing it?
It will initially be 1 officer. There's a substantial amount of training that's involved in it for getting to the different levels. And if we're being honest, it would be challenging for 1 officer to work patrol and to cover this at the same time, because in the first 6 months, you have to do so many inspections, and then within the first year, you have to do so many, and they are time consuming. Sergeant Cure might have a lead on someone where he has his training that might be interested in doing it. Or I would also possibly be interested in researching the possibility of, if we can self-fund all of our expenses, does that include staff as well? Could we hire outside and fund another officer and the equipment required through the fee structure as it's set up?
So recouping those fees that we're gonna have to pay for the scales and all that other stuff, it'll recoup pretty quickly then.
Yes, ma'am.
The fines on these type of offenses, if and when, as we know, they will find violations, and as they are adjudicated through the system, they're a much different structure on what fines are associated with those offenses versus like your average speeding citation, et cetera. So, there's no doubt in my mind that this will be self-funded, even if we did hire someone full-time for said position. However, there will be some upfront costs and expenditures that we sink into it that are recouped on the back end. But I do think that we have a significant amount of larger trucks that roll through here, either to one of our 2 or 3 gas stations that we have to fill up, or just to eat, or just to move through to some other community, that they're gonna be busy.
Yeah, because those requirements are gonna keep those officers kind of from doing their day-to-day patrolling and helping out the community. It would be nice to have another additional person to do that. Yeah.
From my experience, my wife runs DOT compliance for her company. She manages a fleet of about 85 trucks, 85 to 100. And I guarantee you're gonna find violations.
Yes, sir.
I think it's just the nature of the profession.
Citations you guys write and all the violations that go straight into which part of the budget it goes into, the police budget, or?
No, sir, that if it's collected to the municipal court, it's shown in revenue, it goes into general fund, but the
General
police
fund,
department
yeah.
is paid out of general fund, so it's kind of
So
fungible.
that thing
one
would
to
just
the
pay
other.
for itself, because I know, like Randall Loftus said, there's just violation after violation on 287, 114. You guys can stay busy, an 8-hour, have 24-hour officer there can just start writing. I'd be more than thrilled to see some of that.
Well, with the amount of commercial motor vehicle that we have coming through on our major repairs, and what the definition of a commercial motor vehicle is, it expands it to quite a number of vehicles that we see every day.
I'd be thrilled personally with that.
Will this allow enforcement of the no jake brake ordinance also?
It's mostly based around the state standards and the national standards for safety and weight requirements and such, which that would fall more of a city ordinance, which any officer could enforce.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance, Mr. Harmon, to look at that MOU?
I've looked at what I needed to look at and I don't have any problems with it. It's just bottom line, we can get out of it if it turns out to be too onerous.
Okay.
So that's what I always look for on something like this, particularly that what looks like a generally good program that we would want to be part of. The only hesitation I have is just, can we get out of it if it turns out to be fiscally impossible, we can't afford it or something like that, and then there are provisions to get out.
So then staff would be looking for a, meeting minutes notation to accept or approve the resolutions and a resolution for the MOUs as submitted in your packet today. I believe there are 3 of those that we have to execute. You'll look under in your binder, under 6, under B, you will find all of those.
Is there any further discussion? If not, we have a motion to approve or deny the memorandum of understandings.
I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understandings to begin the commercial motor vehicle enforcement program in Rome.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Now getting back to the regular agenda, item E, update to bank signatories / access.
Thank you, sir. This just would provide me with meeting minutes that once they're approved, that if the bank needs that for any reason, that they can have documentation that approves the fact that we have removed the staff member who left us 2 weeks ago, so that we can keep our accounts tight and within our own workforce. So this is basically something that is just regular course of business.
I make a motion to approve the change to authorized bank users and signatories for the city of Rome.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, last item on the regular agenda, appointment of an interim city secretary. Amanda?
Thank you, sir. This item is one that when we went to the regional mayor's meeting the other night, I'm going to give credit to the city manager that's in Aurora, who has been through this process before. She has been, I'm assuming, without a city secretary during the election cycle, and there are certain documents that city secretaries need to sign that I may or may not have the authorization to do so. So I've talked to Carvin about this, and I would ask that you all appoint me as the interim until we fill the position with someone, just so that I have the designation that I can sign documents as needed. And then the person, when we hire someone, would take that back on.
If there are any questions? Do I have a motion that will appoint Mr. Gann as the interim city secretary?
I move that we appoint Amanda DeGan, the city administrator, as the interim city secretary.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion carried.
One thing.
Yep.
So I'm reading F a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Are we not to that?
Let me turn over there. Hold on just a moment. Yes, and we did have, I'm sorry, you are correct. We left part of that off. We do have an opportunity to bring in a contract employee through a contract arrangement. I've actually been in contact with Shayna Odom, our previous city secretary, and she's interested in potentially doing that on a trial basis for 30 to 60 days and see how that works, because she does not live close to us. So she would have to be basically a remote employee during that time frame. So, yes, I apologize. We need to amend the motion or make a second one, and maybe Carter could tell us.
Yeah, I give this a second.
Yeah. We need, someone like to offer a motion to approve the contract of hiring a temporary city secretary.
I have a question first.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That is, what has, Shayna been doing since she was our city secretary?
I believe she's been resettling her family. I don't think she's worked outside the home since then.
Okay.
And just to be clear, man, the agreement that I sent to you that you may not have had time to look at, is really a professional services agreement. It does not actually create an employment relationship. It's more like an independent contractor relationship.
And that was what we wanted to do for the first little bit, because I don't know how this is going to work with her remote. I'm thinking it should be fairly seamless. Since we have folks here who can print documents and sign them, that's what I'm hopeful for, but we don't want to commit to something that we might need to change in the future.
And Mayor, I heard you heading toward wanting her as interim city secretary, and that is not what you're doing.
So this motion written here is not gonna be correct.
Though the interim city secretary position would be myself.
Just
But this would also, so there'd be two motions, but then there'd be one to allow staff to hire a person to fill them through a contract arrangement until the job is filled.
Do I have 6 minutes?
Okay,
Sorry.
so we're gonna have an interim city secretary.
Just for signing things that needs to be signed in the election cycle that I might not be able to.
And then for all other responsibilities, we're contracting.
Yes.
Other city secretary
Yes.
responsibility.
Mhm.
But we're not contracting for a city secretary because you are,
For now.
yeah.
Yeah, the way I actually drafted the contract, it's going to be as directed by the city administrator. So she can do other things besides city secretarial staffing. It'll really be whatever the city administrator requires, she could ask Shana to do.
Just for clarity's sake, when Shana was here, she also handled all the treasurer work. And that's something that we'll need to iron out as we go through this process. When we transition to our new financial software in OpenGov, everything will be electronic. We won't have paper invoices floating around and getting lost in the office any longer. And so that may be something that she can also do remotely, but I'm not gonna know that until we actually transition to the new software at the end of March. So I'd like to kind of hold that in abeyance before I say, yes, this is going to be part of your duties as well, until we know how that's gonna work.
Have we posted the position yet?
No.
Email, we haven't done that yet.
That was my question.
Sorry, man.
Okay.
I will entertain a motion at this time.
I've modified the motion a little bit. I make a motion to allow staff to hire a person to perform city secretary tasks as directed by the interim city secretary through a contract arrangement until the job is filled.
The only thing I would add to that is it's really broader than city secretary duties. So I would just make the motion, you authorize, staff to engage an individual to perform administrative services at the direction of the city administrator. But she's gonna probably do more than just city secretary work. Unless I'm.
No, that is correct. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I'll try again.
No, amend your motion.
So do you have a time frame as to when you're gonna post it?
No, sir, I'd really like to try the contractual arrangement first. Shana has a lot of institutional knowledge about the city of Rome, as well as all of the developments, all of the history of a lot of the developments. She came in part-time as a permit clerk and learned through that process with utility billing, all of our ACH drafting for that, our HR work, our payroll. I mean, her expertise in the city of Rome is extensive. And honestly, if I'd been thinking clearly or had some sort of other option, I might have thought of this arrangement when she was going to leave, which was part of the reason why she was not going to work here anymore. So I really have high hopes that she is very smart and very knowledgeable and very, she possesses an ability to take a situation and then analyze it and give us a result. So I'd like to try that for the 30 to 60 days and see how it goes. And if it's going to go well, then I would offer her the position.
So this possibly could be a long
Yes.
term.
Yes.
Okay.
A remote long-term
Yes.
for her.
I mean, she may come in off and on. She has the ability to get in. That's not an issue. And we've talked about coming to some of the staff meetings, et cetera. But you know, I can run the meeting from here. She can transcribe the minutes and get them back into the folders, since we do so much on the computer. And once we've now transitioned Laserfish to the cloud, now we put our financial system to the cloud. She can access that from wherever she's at. So that was part of the idea of moving our things into that type of system. So my long-term goal is that this 30 to 60-day trial period works well for both parties, and that we can offer the position to her full-time remotely, and then we will kind of scan in what needs to be sent to her through email, et cetera.
Does she still have or she need requirements as a city secretary? I'm
I
assuming.
think there's so much time frame before you have to go and get your certification renewed. But she has actually been keeping tabs and watching some of our council meetings intermittently. So I think she's still pretty plugged in to what's been going on in Rome. So this could be a really good thing for us.
Again, I have an amended motion.
I make a motion to allow staff to hire a person to perform administrative services as directed by staff through a contract arrangement until the job is filled.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I am looking at Carbon's face.
I'm gonna say aye right now,
You made
before I
it.
get cut off.
I didn't make a face. I'm sorry. Yeah, the only thing I would like just to add is you put a as needed quota or something on the end of that?
Until the Johnson.
Or until the job's filled, and this one is really not tied to the
Yeah,
city
that's
secretary's
what it
position.
said here. I can take that out.
Well, I'm okay with you guys passing that. I just want you to know it's the intent, the contract is open-ended right now. And it can be terminated by either party at any time. So if it goes 30 days, it could also go 90 days. It's just as needed. And it is even possible that you could continue the relationship with Shayna if you hired someone else to be the city secretary.
Agreed.
The way it's
Theoretically, yes, I don't see the need for that as far as workload and as quickly as I know that Shayna can analyze things and turn them back around to me, that's not the issue.
Okay.
Would we like to resume the vote?
Are there any issues with the way?
I just don't
It
want
was- yeah.
someone to come back and question. What do we do now? We're in the middle of something. I feel like we
Just
should.
wait on you.
That's it.
Did you go ahead and get the vote?
I don't know if Mrs. King is abstaining or if there is some sort of other question we need to answer first for
Yeah.
her.
Well,
Was it the way that the motion was stated that's
Yes.
confusing?
Yes,
So I think,
I don't want somebody to come back and question what our intent was.
Or say that Shayna can no longer work because you hired somebody.
Isn't that part of
I
the
don't know.
employment contract though?
Do you want to make the motion and word it differently, or?
I don't know that I can. I don't know. I think we kind of jumped the gun with that.
well, technically, and you guys are not bound by Robert's rules, but you've already called the question, you've already started the vote. So really at this point, we need to go ahead and finish the vote. If after the vote is taken, you want to make a new motion to amend the previous motion, then you can do that.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Now, do we want to amend previous motion?
My opinion is that Shayna will be employed under a contract that will state those items.
Good to go. All right.
thank you, council. I know that that's a little bit of a different arrangement, but I will tell you that I think that this is going to be a very good match back for us. Shayna did an excellent job when she was here before. Certainly knows the election things forward and backwards, which is extremely helpful, as well as the development and organizing the planning and zoning committee meetings and all of those things that she really handled for me when she was here. So I am looking forward to that partnership again. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to do something that maybe looks a little bit different.
And I apologize for the confusion because Amanda and I just didn't have time really to talk about it. And I drafted a contract based on some very general criteria, and we got to a final document, but she hadn't actually told me whether it was good or not. So
You know, oddly, our internet's been so slow. I don't have it yet.
Yeah, but we can revise that contract based on the motion, so we're good. We're good.
All right, moving on to our last item on the agenda, future agenda item. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add? Nothing heard. So at this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
I.
aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
all.
You guys be safe getting home and safe this weekend.
My favorite event, Tom, for traveling.